followed the rules, and it didn't help me long term.
I was just so tired of losing the weight and gaining it all back.
But I found something new. It's called Noom.
It's not a diet. It's a totally different, personalized program
that uses psychology and small goals to change your habits so that you can lose the weight
and keep it off for good.
It's super easy to get started, so what do you have to lose? Visit Noom.com today and lose the weight for good.
A moment of joy, a source of inspiration, an act of kindness, an old friend, a new beginning, some welcome relief, or a cause for celebration. What's inside? Possibilities. What we deliver by delivering.
Wow, Kaylee, this is a fancy hotel. Must have cost a lot.
Actually, I got a great deal. Priceline saves you up to 60% on hotels, but that's something the hotels don't really want other guests to know. I saved about $120 a night.
Yes, Kaylee.
Did you say you saved $120 a night on your room?
$120 a night on a hotel room. That's a lot of savings.
I saved even more on my flight. Save up to 60% on hotels with Priceline.
You're feeling the squeeze. Costs are rising. It's hard to keep up. In Washington, one party is calling the shots, and the middle class isn't being heard. We need a new Congress that will cut taxes for the middle class, ensure coverage for people with pre-existing conditions, and protect Social Security and Medicare. Vote for a Democratic Congress, for an economy that works for everyone. Independence USA PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
All the tools you need for every step of the way. Make it Squarespace.
In an era of online retail where everything is just a few clicks away, buying a car should be no different. That's why at Carvana, you can buy a car 100% online. We made it easy to browse, view, and buy from over 10,000 cars. You can even trade in your old car, all while binge watching your favorite TV show. Afterwards, we'll deliver your car to you, or you can pick it up from one of our car vending machines. Either way, your car comes with a 7-day return policy. So grab a seat, relax in your comfy pants, and enjoy the new way to buy a car at Carvana.
There's lots of people who are confused about which Medicare plan is right for them.
Hey, that's me. I barely know where to start.
Well, start here with me, Karen. I'm a licensed Humana sales agent.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Karen. I'm John Smith.
Hi, John. At Humana, we know you're unique, so you have different needs from other John Smiths.
Yeah, I've always thought so.
And together, we can find a plan that's right for you.
Great. I go to the doctor a couple of times a year, and I have some prescriptions, but I'm never fully sure of what's covered and what's not.
With Humana's all-in-one Medicare Advantage plans, you get coverage for hospital stays, doctor visits, and Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable and sometimes no monthly plan premium.
Do you have any more information?
Sure. I'll get a decision guide in the mail to you today. They're free.
Finally, someone who understands the real me.
Your health and happiness is important to us. Call or go online now to get your free decision guide. Call a licensed Humana sales agent today.
Wireless for $15 a month. That's not right.
It's right, all right. Finger dipping? That's not right.
That did look good.
Oh, that does look good.
You gotta try this. That's so good.
That's not right.
Neither is the way you get wireless. Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless and made it right. For easy, online, and just $15 a month. Get your plan today at mintmobile.com.
The mayor of Pittsburgh is calling the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue the darkest day in the city's history. Soon, another vigil will get underway in the Squirrel Hill neighborhood where the mass killing took place, giving this community another moment to come together and begin in the healing. We're also now learning more about the victims of this shooting, the 11 people who died, ranging in age from 54 to 97. And as the community mourns their loss, investigators continue to search for answers. The suspect is currently under guard in a hospital recovering after surgery. He is now charged with 29 criminal counts, including federal hate crimes. He's due in court tomorrow. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. Back with me now is CNN law enforcement analyst Josh Campbell, who is also a former FBI supervisory special agent. Good to see you, Josh. So the suspect is in custody. What are investigators now looking for in terms of evidence of his apartment? They've, exhausted looking at his car. How will this help substantiate the case?
So there are several teams that are working here simultaneously. Obviously, we have a team that will be interested in him, perhaps conducting an interview. We know that he was hospitalized and received what was described as multiple gunshot wounds. So we don't yet know if he was able to be interviewed and whether he was cooperative. That's focused on him. At the same time, law enforcement officers are fanning out to cover three other areas. As you mentioned, possible residences, places of employment and the like, trying to gather possible additional evidence that may help with that motive as far as trying to determine what he was thinking and, what kind of went into that planning. Also, there is his associates. They want to talk to friends, family members, colleagues. Again, trying to get a mindset, trying to build a picture of who this person is. And then lastly, we've been talking a lot about these very troubling social media posts, a lot of this, bigoted anti-Semitic commentary that we now know about. That will all be a key part of this investigation. We know that law enforcement specialists who are trained in forensics, digital forensics, are being brought in on the case to go through those social media posts. I have no doubt they'll also try to get through into the devices that he actually used, whether it's a computer, whether it's a phone. Again, trying to gather as much evidence as they can in order to build these hate crime charges.
And they want to know whether he acted alone or if any way he was influenced by, possible hate groups or in any way, his actions facilitated by anyone or any other influence. How will they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason is twofold. So first of all, there's the case at hand. They want to ensure that there was no one else out there who may be responsible for this incredibly deadly act, this tragedy. And so that will be a key part of it. And they'll find that out by talking with him and then, again, going through these other potential areas of evidence, avenues to kind of, build this case. They don't want to close the case on this until they're 100% sure that there's no one else out there who may have assisted. And it's also important because, we've covered so many of these tragedies, but after each one, law enforcement officers will try to gather as much evidence as they can, information, to kind of put together these profiles, these best practices. Are there patterns here the law enforcement officers may be able to get out in front of in order to prevent acts from happening rather than simply investigating them after a tragedy occurs?
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much, Josh Campbell.
Thanks,
appreciate it. All right, even as the investigation continues, some people are questioning whether some of President Trump's rhetoric is fueling extremism on Capitol Hill. Lots of different thoughts about the president's impact.
I don't see where President Trump is somehow to blame for this. Now, President Trump and his rhetoric is very direct, but I don't see how you connect President Trump to a person who's deranged going into a synagogue. He's been very clear about anti-Semitism, as well as all of us have been. That is a sick, vile thing.
I am concerned that this hateful, deranged act by a man acting on his anti-Semitic hatred is just the latest in a series of violent incidents this past week that shows that our national political culture is motivating folks who are inspired by hate, by fear, by bigotry, to take up and act on their deranged ideas. I think those of us in national office, our president, those who would hope to be president, those of us in Congress who have louder microphones and who are heard from and seen more regularly, need to take responsibility for ways in which we lower the temperature.
President Trump is pushing back at any ideas that his words motivated any violent attacks, and points out that the suspect apparently posted anti-Trump messages. President Trump's former communications director, Anthony Scaramucci, says the president should cool things off.
We got to tone it down. And, again, I don't want to repeat myself, but I think it's worth repeating. He's the president of the United States. He controls the news cycle and the bully pulpit, and he can do it. And if he does it, I think he goes through 50% on his approval rating.
Joining me right now, White House correspondent Boris Sanchez. So, Boris, what's the plan from the president and the White House?
Hey there, Fred. Yeah, President Trump was asked a multitude of times last week if he would consider toning down his rhetoric. That's in light of the two incidents of domestic terror we reported. The president actually told reporters that he wasn't going to tone it down, that he could, in fact, tone it up. And then before a rally before his supporters in southern Illinois yesterday, the president was asked that question again, and he said that he could tone it down if he didn't have to deal with such a dishonest press. Again, those are the president's words. Of course, the president asked supporters to condemn anti-Semitism in the United States. He asked all Americans to come together. But when he was specifically asked about a possible solution to gun violence, the president repeated an idea that we've heard from the White House before, and he dismissed any gun control legislation as a possibility. Listen to more of what the president said.
If they had protection inside, the results would have been far better. This is a dispute that will always exist, I suspect, but if they had some kind of a protection inside the temple, maybe it could have been a much different situation. This evil anti-Semitic attack is an assault on all of us. It's an assault on humanity. It will require all of us working together to extract the hateful poison of anti-Semitism from our world. This was an anti-Semitic attack at its worst. The scourge of anti-Semitism cannot be ignored, cannot be tolerated, and it cannot be allowed to continue.
So what you heard there, the president repeating that idea that armed guards at schools or at places of worship could help prevent this sort of gun violence. A note about tone, Fred, whether the president decides to continue the heated rhetoric that we've seen from him on the campaign trail or not. We will be hearing more from President Trump as we get closer to November 6th. All indications are that he will be adding more and more campaign stops, stumping for Republicans before the midterm elections, Fred.
All right, Boris Sanchez, thanks so much. Happening right now, the community is gathering to remember the victims of that deadly synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh yesterday. It's happening right now at Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall, and it's scheduled to begin very shortly. Our team of reporters is there, and we'll take you there live at the top of the hour.
My ancestry DNA results reveal parts of me that I didn't even know. I find out that I'm 19% Native American, specifically from the Chihuahua people. What? I find that crazy. It traces their journey in the mid-1800s from central Mexico to Texas. Learning about the risks they took for a better life gives me so much respect and gratitude. It just sheds so much light in my past that I never even would have known was there.
Connecting 20 million members to a deeper family story. Order your kit at Ancestry.com.
ADT Smart Security helps protect your home no matter where you find yourself.
Damn.
Scarecrow Service, brought to you by ADT. ADT, real protection.
What is love? Two hearts,
I'm coming.
one soul. It's the journey and the destination. It's vows made.
Put me back in. Come on. I want to fight.
Quench your thirst. Live your dreams. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
It doesn't matter what.
Come on, game.
You can still be
10, 9,
unless you get the
8.
100% American-made pet comfort.
Damn it.
With non-toxic bowls.
He got away how?
They're the only pet bowl certified by the NSF. Plus an elevated stand and mat are made from an FDA-compliant material and further enhanced for your pet's health. Finally, a truly non-toxic feeding system for your
Dragon or action? Dragon or action? Action.
Tina, you are so right. Tina, you're a genius. I know. All right, talk to you later. Bye, girl. Hi, sorry.
Are these stools new?
Yeah, I just got them.
What about the vanity?
Were you upstairs?
Let me see if I can clutch
No.
Dragon in 1 minute.
Who's Tina? Your new best friend? Your shopping pal?
Stacey? It's Wayfair.
Oh!
She doesn't have a new BFF. She's got Wayfair.
Tina?
Everyone loves a clean house.
Oh, man.
I'm just too busy to keep up. That's why I
Oh, frick. That's it. GG.
sure I want tackle, a background check provided, and the day and time I want it. Then my dirty house is transformed into a clean one. So start enjoying more of your life by going to tackle.com or by downloading the free Tackle app today. Because there's most precious in my
Look at him trying to go to the base. I see you. I wish I could like cancel. There we go. Ah, shit.
Many people living with diabetes monitor their blood glucose every day, which means they have to stop and stick their fingers repeatedly. Today, life-changing technology from Abbott makes it possible to track glucose levels